This guitar just came from the paint booth and I'm finally ready to assemble it. I attached the neck to have the opportunity to put it on the guitar stand and to have just to have more free space in the room and to see the whole guitar in one piece. Now I'll begin to assemble all the parts and it will be the first step. To avoid the scratches, I put the cloth to the table, but for more safety I want to open electronics cavity just to measure it. Then I'll just cut the piece from this cardboard, mark everything, all the positions of potentiometers, all the holes for switch and everything. Then I draw it with pencil and then cut it out and mount everything on this cardboard. When electronics will be ready, I'll put pickups, wires, connect it, and all the electronics by one piece will go from cardboard to cavity. Simple and practical solution. Because here we have a rather small and busy cavity. With cardboard you can do whatever you want, try different schemes, different components, solder, redo something if you want. You can find often some pre-soldered sets of electronics on the market. They are mounted on different types of cardboard or wooden plates for different cavities with different dimensions for common guitar brands. One more thing, this guitar was covered by varnish with all the cavities, so this graphite layer don't help us anymore. And now I'm attaching these office stickers to draw the form of the cavity. After that I put them on my board, cut it by scissors, maybe remeasure one more time and cut once again. And it's ready. Don't forget to cut holes for switch and pots. I use here the knife for paper. It's sharp and small to make everything clear and precise enough for this job. In the end you got something like this strange piece. But now you just can put your guitar in case or leave it on the guitar stand, cause we will work only with this cardboard piece. Talking about the electronics. First modification is push-push tone pot. Cause from the factory on this guitar you got push-pull and you need to pull out the knob to switch on the coil split on the bridge humbucker. I changed the knobs for the classic Strat shape, so now it's 10 times more comfortable to push it for coil split instead of pull out. It's super mod, so I can suggest it for everybody, especially if you have small knobs or close placed potentiometers in your guitar. It's much more comfortable. This process of soldering wouldn't have happened if I hadn't buy this small and cheap help thing that called, if I'm not wrong, the third arm. This thing stands on the table and helps you to hold small parts and wires, while one of your hand always holds the soldering iron and in other hand you hold these tweezers. It's one of the most needed things and I'm lucky that I bought it just for addition to the soldering set. I faced with changing both potentiometers, tone and volume, cause pots can be logarithmic and line. Line 1 goes to the tone side and logarithmic to the volume. And by default it has been swapped out between two from the factory on this guitar. So it's the reason I changed Korean-made electronics to American one. Brand called CTS, that is kind of golden standard in guitar building now. After that I put the stock pickups back into guitar and wired it. One more thing, pickup wires are too long, because it's pretty standard for different models on the factory. They have different models and one set of pickups, and they use one length for every guitar. But I want to short it to get rid of the tangle of the unnecessary wires and to have more space in the cavity. And before the final soldering, it's better to pre-solder all the wires ends. At first it takes some time, but later it helps you, trust me. This copper tape takes me 2 days to break in my project and just waiting. It's for cavity shielding. You need to apply this tape with overlap for the contact between layers. Also, you need to put it to the cavity cap, and you need to have a good place to contact between cavity and cap. Process goes easy and it's very satisfying. Check that potentiometer's contacts where you will solder the wires, and that these contacts don't touch the shielding. You can go further, you can shield the pickup cavities and connect it by wire to the one piece with electronics cavity, but I won't do that because I'm too lazy. So, here you can see the second mode I've done to this guitar. I found it on one of the videos on the Tomon channel with some guitar tips. And many other manufacturers of electronics, pickups and guitars suggest to do this modification. I'm talking about the situation when you have both single coils and humbucker pickups in your guitar. Ideally, these pickups should have potentiometers with different numbers. In my guitar it's pretty standard, the 500K, for good match with humbucker. But if your guitar have only single coils, it would be only 250K potentiometer. So it's the standard for the single coils. To solve this mismatching in my guitar, I should add the resistor to the switching position that engage the single coil. I got 2 single coils, so I should solder 2 resistors to the positions with connected single coils. Each resistor is around 500K also, but you won't get straight number of 500. It can be 470, 510, 560. So usually people suggest to install 470K. So you solder in one end of it to the switch position of single coil and the other end to the ground on the switch. What you can get by this mode? As for me, I hear much less gap when I'm switching between humbucker and single coil. Less volume and gain drop. So just try it by yourself, it's definitely worth it, it's low budget, beginners friendly, and maybe you'll save old pickups instead of buying new ones. Check it out. And as for me, I pretty like it and recommend it to everyone. Here I solder in the output jack, connecting pickups to the switch. And don't forget to solder the ground wire to the tremolo claw. Sometimes when guitar have some noise, you should check the ground wires, and first this one, that comes to the guitar bridge. Here I attach the tape to cover the guitar and to avoid the scratching. I put the tremolo in. On this series of Harley Benton, it's very good 2-point tremolo from Wilkinson. After that I put the tension springs, tremolo arm, I fix the tremolo on the working height. I put the machine heads. Every head has its own height of the hole for the string, to hold the proper string angle. So I numbered them for faster work and faster reinstalling. And finally, I've painted, soldered, assembled all the parts to the one piece to this beautiful guitar. It's time to make some cool photos outside and to show them so you can enjoy it. And there will be some sound test in the next videos, so please subscribe and stay tuned. Bye bye.